Blue had 22 version exclusive Pokemon, Gold and Silver had 20 version exclusive Pokemon. Following this trend and seeing how Gen 3 added 135 new Pokemon with Ruby and Sapphire, can you guess how many version exclusive Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire will have between the two versions? Well, trainers, if you guessed 16 for whatever odd reason, with them containing 6 Pokemon families, you were right. Somehow, someway, as the generations keep moving on, though the number of Pokemon keep increasing, the number of version exclusives becomes less and less, which kinda almost invalidates the point of having 2 separate Pokemon games in the first place, and 4 of these Ruby and Sapphire ones are legendaries. But don't worry, cause Diamond and Pearl really brings in the version exclusives, but that's for a later video. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so a lot of you probably may still choose to play OG Ruby or Sapphire. And if you do, you would probably want to play your preferred version based off the game's version exclusive Pokemon. So, which version has the better exclusive Pokemon? Starting off with what I would say is the most pivotal pair between everything, and the only version exclusive pair in these games to have an evolutionary family, we have the Seedot and Lotad families. Being able to obtain them right at the start of the game, these two Pokemon of Shiftry and Ludicolo are very often seen on Pokemon teams this generation. However, one of them is far superior than the other. Being a grass type pair, Shiftry is a grass and dark type, while Ludicolo is a grass and water type. Dark is a definitely more rare typing because water is plentiful in Hoenn, but the unique combination of grass and water makes Ludicolo stand out more as its water type weaknesses are all neutralized. Now only having 3 weaknesses and resistances compared to Shiftry's 7 weaknesses with the quad weakness to bug, 6 resistances and 1 immunity. For stats, they're both base 480 stone evolutions with the same stats just distributed a bit differently, with Shiftry being more physical and Ludicolo being more special. But where these Pokemon really stand apart is in their movesets. See, as stone evolutions, once they evolve, they don't have access to too many moves, as you can see by their moves here. Going to Nuzleaf and Lombre, their moves are also admittedly not too great. They both get access to Fake Out, and that's about it. However, it is cool to note that Lombre at least gets stabbed to both its typings, while Nuzleaf only gets access to a dark type move in Feint Attack. So we have to go back to Shiftry and Ludicolo and check out their TM moveset. And lo and behold, their TMs aren't too great. However, Ludicolo takes the advantage here by having access to stab HMs. Remember, Hoenn is full of water, and you need water types to traverse the region. Most time people carry 2 of them because of the amount of water HMs in the game. And honestly, Ludicolo being grass and water means it's diverse enough to get by. Giga Drain, Surf, Ice Beam, and Fake Out, or any other move of your choice, and you're sitting pretty. What does Shiftry have on the other hand? Giga Drain, Feint Attack, and that's it. I think it was really unfair to be honest, and the way I see it, aside from stats where they're both tied, Ludicolo has the advantage in almost every other way, giving the point to Pokemon Sapphire. Next up, we have a rather interesting pair in the form of Mawile and Sableye. Mawile before Gen 6 was a pure Steel-type Pokemon, while Sableye is a Dark and Ghost-type Pokemon, which at this time is a Pokemon with 0 weaknesses. They're both at a base stat total of 380, which isn't doing much, and even their stat distributions aren't all too different. Mawile is just slightly more physical, while Sableye is slightly more balanced. Despite that though, when it comes to their moves, Sableye is the clear winner. Having good access to moves like Stat Moves, Nightshade, Fake Out, Confuse Ray, Mean Look, and all sorts of other nifty stuff. Yeah, in this gen it doesn't have access to the ability Prankster, but Mawile on the other hand has absolutely trash moves and no sign of any steel type moves, even with TMs into account, meaning it doesn't get stabbed. Abilities wise at this time with Intimidate, Mawile might be better, but with moves like this, Sableye is clearly the better option, giving another point to Pokemon Sapphire. A really cool pair here is Zangoose and Seviper, a normal and poison type respectively, with Zangoose's ability being immunity, meaning it can't get poisoned, and Seviper getting Shed Skin, giving Seviper a 1/3 chance to heal its status condition every turn. Both are great abilities, they both have a stat total of 458, with Zangoose being oriented to be a physical sweeper, and Seviper being a more mixed attacker with not ideal speed. However, where Seviper falls short the most is in its moves once again. I'm only now realizing that this has been the trend for all of the Pokemon thus far. If you look at Seviper's level up moveset, the only moves that are ideal are Glare and Crunch. Maybe Swagger if you want. TM wise, it's getting Sludge Bomb, Flamethrower, Earthquake, and Giga Drain. Pretty cool, yeah? Tell me, with the exception of Sludge Bomb, how many of those single usable TMs are you using on Seviper over other Pokemon? Yeah, that's my point. Zangoose on the other hand, Zangoose goes crazy. By level up, it has access to Sword Stance, Quick Attack, and Crush Claw. Set up to get +2 attack, priority, and a pretty good stab move, which you can later replace with Return as well. And remember, Ghost is physical at this generation, so teach Zangoose Shadow Ball for all the Ghost types that can't hit, and you got yourself a perfect Pokemon here. And this is excluding other niche moves like False Swipe for catching Pokemon and other TMs it can learn. Zangoose is quite honestly a fantastic version exclusive Pokemon, giving Pokemon Ruby one really solid W here. Alright, so Solrock and Lunatone are quite interesting. Both are rock and psychic types with Levitate, and in this generation, a stat total of 440, with Solrock being more on the physical side and Lunatone being on the special side. But this time, it makes a big difference. Because of this change, Solrock is better able to utilize its rock type moves with a 95 base attack and not so much as psychic attacks with a base 55 special attack. In contrast, Lunatone can well utilize its psychic type moves with a base 95 special attack, while it can't utilize its rock type attacks at a base 55 attack. And this shows in their moveset as well, where you see that at level 37, Solrock learns Rock Slide while Lunatone learns Psychic, and neither gets the other's move via level up later on either. However, one thing that both Pokemon get is access to Cosmic Power, allowing them to raise their special attack and special defense. This might put things in favor of Lunatone, letting it hit better with something it's already good at, but honestly, I'm thinking of giving it to Solrock. Outside of Psych type moves and Ice Beam, Lunatone doesn't get access to much, whereas Solrock with Cosmic Power can now take advantage of all of its special moves even via TMs. Has access to other usable physical moves via TMs as well, and more importantly, it serves as a rock type Pokemon more than a psychic type Pokemon, which in Gen 3 is probably more valuable because you will most likely pick up another Pokemon like Gardevoir, Grumpig, or any other special Pokemon that can use Psychic better than Lunatone, whereas having a Pokemon with a good usage of rock type moves is not all too common just yet. Plus, since it gets access to Sunny Day and Fire type moves, its weakness of Water and Grass could get neutralized in some way, giving Solrock more options and thus more viability. Solrock gives the point to Pokemon Ruby. Next up, we have our first legendary pair, and oh boy, it's Latios and Latias. The same Pokemon, just Latios is more offensive and Latios is more defensive, and unlike Solrock and Lunatone, it doesn't make too much of a difference here. Both Dragon and Psychic type Pokemon with base 600 with Levitate as the ability, both have access to the exact same TMs, meaning their learn set is the only difference, and in my eyes, if you were to look at it, I mean, they're both still really great Pokemon, but Latios has access to Dragon Dance, which is crazy, right? But then you remember that Dragon and Psychic are both special moves in this generation, so it really doesn't do anything unless you have another physical move, but you probably have a Psychic move and a Dragon type move, Dragon Dance, and then you have room for like one more physical move. Like, sure, it raises their speed, but you're already base 110 in speed, so what's the point? Yeah, it's kind of dumb that the last move that Latios learns is Charm, but really, is Dragon Dance even making a difference? In my eyes, Latios might have the slighter edge, but honestly, it's not that serious. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, we have a tie between the pairs, giving 0.5 to each version here. And finally, the tiebreaker, using the one pair that most people probably pick the version on. For the first time, we have the Mascots as version exclusive Pokemon, Groudon and Kyogre. Pure Ground and Pure Water respectively, with Drought and Drizzle as their abilities, commanding the weather and getting a number of advantages from them. And honestly, no matter how this one goes, you're probably just going to go with the one that you simply like better. But objectively speaking, they both have really strong and solid moves. However, since Groudon is more on the physical side, its boosted fire type moves and Solar Beam aren't doing as much as it could, since the physical aspect is there to help stop ground moves, and Drought is there to boost the fire type moves and one-turn Solar Beam. Kyogre, on the other hand, is more specially oriented, and has Drizzle to boost its already super strong stab water moves, has perfect accuracy Thunder, and of course has Ice Beam. And honestly, Water Spout in these conditions is probably taking out anything and everything. Not to mention that everything that Kyogre and Groudon are weak to are specially oriented attacks in this generation, and Groudon has a 90 base special defense, while Kyogre has a base 160. Because of all that, I'm giving the Mascot legendary Pokemon of Sapphire the win, giving Pokemon Sapphire the win off 1 point. But let me know what you guys think. Which version exclusives do you like? How did you feel about the list? And which Pokemon game would you play? Ruby or Sapphire? Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you over on the next video, alright? Later, bye!